Hello and welcome back. I'm going to be going through some of my favourite art books today. I've picked out 4 for now, I think, because I have a few art books, but we're just going to look at 4. And I've not got all of them here because one is huge, so I'm going to pick that one out when I'm showing it to you. But these are some of the art books that really inspire my art practice in multiple ways, so I'll go over that when I go through each of them individually, so let's get into that. First up we have Decade by Evan Amundsen, and this is a pretty well loved and well used version of this now. I constantly reach for this, so it's getting a little bit scratched up now, but I try to take care of it at the same time. But a patina of use, and it's nice for me. But anyway, I really like this book for a number of reasons, and it's inspiring to me in my art practice in multiple areas. One is for line art specifically, and also line weight and the use of ink and also pencil when it comes to values and line weight, like I mentioned, and also textures. So this is inspiring to me when it comes to my line art illustrations, and also whenever I'm doing graphite, ballpoint pen, and black ink illustrations and sketches. So we're going to start off with this spread here. Thank you, ruler. And I'm not going to show too many pages when I'm showing these books, just out of respect of the artists, but I've picked out for each of these books a few pages that just kind of summarize what is inspiring about this book for me. And this book has a lot of pen sketching in it, and a lot of artists recommend that you sketch in pen because it helps in various ways. It can help with confidence, with sketching speed, with not worrying about erasing, and all sorts of other benefits as well. And Evan's sketching is one of the things that inspired me into sketching with a ballpoint pen specifically, which bridges that gap between the ability to build up slowly and it also being permanent. So a lot of the sketches in this book were inspiring to me when I was first learning to sketch with ballpoint pen, and they're still inspiring to me for that reason. But there are also sketches in here that are done in black ink, brush pen, and those inspire me for that as well. Another thing that inspires me is seeing a sketchbook in use, because in reality, artists use sketchbooks in many different ways. And if you're just looking at one source, even if you're just looking at YouTube for what the most popular sketchbooks are like, you're going to get a very narrow viewpoint. And if you branch out into multiple different places to see what sketchbooks look like for different artists, you end up finding out that there's almost an infinite amount of ways a sketchbook can be used. And when I was starting out, this was very important for me to learn, is that I needed to figure out for myself what my sketchbook practice is going to look like. And it can be full of sketches that would be considered more like finished drawings and ink illustrations, but it can also be filled with studying. It can be filled with very loose sketches. It can be filled with gesture studies. It can be filled with still life studies. It can be filled with thumbnails. It can be filled with writing. It can be used in all sorts of different ways. And having art books that are, one, a lot of variety in how a sketchbook is used, but two, also shows even variety within the artists themselves, really helped me learn to figure out what my sketchbooking practice is like and accept that that is my practice and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's even something to be happy about and to celebrate, and to also just constantly grow with that as well and learn more and more about it. I'll try and pick out another sketchbook page in here. Okay, so this is brush pen, and another thing that inspires me with Evan's work is that it's usually quite fantasy based as well, and fantasy folklore and everything like that is a massive inspiration for me as well. So I get lots of different kinds of inspiration from looking at this book. Next up we have something a little bit different. You could probably consider this a zine rather than an art book, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to lump it in with the art books. This is Reconnect by Iain, and I'll be leaving the names of the artists that I'm talking about in the description if you're interested in finding out more about them. But for Iain, I am very inspired by her use of watercolour for one thing, and she shared a lot about her journey of learning to draw and her constant improvement, and that is also an area that really, really inspires me in my own self-studying. And this zine, this art book, reflects that as well, because if we go to the marked page, there we go. I'll talk about this in a moment. If we go to this marked page, this zine is a bunch of gesture drawing, and she goes over how long the gestures were done for, and then into figure drawing, so longer poses, and then into character design. And this is one of her more recent prints. I think it's from a couple of years ago, just to show you more of her work. And again, this is really inspiring to me because it shows her work ethic, her studying ethic, her dedication to her art practice. And you don't necessarily have to have a really, really strict work ethic or anything like that with your art. That is entirely dependent on what you need and want from art. If you're just a hobbyist and you're doing it in your spare time and you don't want to study, then that's perfectly fine and valid as well. But this really resonates in my art practice because I'm self-studying and teaching myself art through various online courses and books, and I might do a video going through some of the resources and how I study from them soon. But looking at how other artists themselves learn is really, really inspiring to me when it comes to developing my art practice in terms of studying and learning. So we have some gesture drawings here, and then towards the end we have some characters, and I think this book's back from 2018, so this one's from a little while ago. This was before I started posting online. It's before my YouTube channel and everything, when I was starting to get back into art again, but I was still figuring a lot of things out and also figuring out how I wanted to learn and getting over a lot of sketchbook problems, which I've spoken about in some recent videos as well. So Iain was a really big part of inspiring me to pursue my creative impulses and to learn and study and improve, and to also embrace what interests me as well. So this is Reconnect. I don't know if she still sells these because they were limited edition. She does have a Patreon store where she sells the remaining stock of some of her previous Patreon things. So you might be able to pick up some of her previous zines through the Patreon store that she has, but I'm not 100% certain. Okay, next we have the big boy. I can't actually fit this on my desk, even if I put it this way around. It goes off the edge of my desk on down here. This is absolutely massive, but I have censored it as well for YouTube. This is Shadowline by Iain McCaig, who is a very well-known artist when it comes to concept art, and a lot of people will know him for the Star Wars prequels, among many other things. So this art book is inspiring to me because of... Oh, if we get into... This thing is a tome. 1. Storytelling. 2. Sketching. And 3. The use of media. So, first of all, in terms of storytelling, he tells a story throughout this book. He tells the story of this character here. And as you're going through his art and his sketches, you're also going through the story of this character and how everything is just about storytelling and things in this book is really inspiring. Another thing is use of media. He jumps around media constantly, and it's more about the fact that mediums are just different tools and you don't have to be beholden to one medium. You are the artist. You can go around and just make, and the tools are there for you to make. At the end of the day, at the core of your practice, it's just you. And that's really inspiring when it comes to looking through this book as well. And then another thing is... I did mark a page, but we'll see if we manage to get to it. Okay. So there's an entire section at one point in the book where he just shows his sketches, primarily just pencil sketches. And these are really inspiring to me because, again, he just is free. You can feel how free he is when it comes to his art practice and how ideas and things just seem to flow from him, and how much joy he has in his art practice is something that I've wanted to foster in myself, especially when it comes to healing my problems that I've had with sketchbooks in the past and things. Again, I've been over that already in another video, so I'm not going to bring it up again. But if you have had some really damaging things happen to you because of other people in the past, and you want to try and foster joy in your art practice, he has been a really, really inspiring artist for me for that. And looking through his sketches, but also watching videos of him just talking about art, he has so much joy and passion for it, and you can really, really just see that and hear that in him. And also about the fact that he seems to just can't even like talk for that long without needing to draw. But again, that's something that's really, really important to me and inspiring to me in my art practice, is building that sense of joy and freedom when it comes to expressing myself again. The last art book that I want to show, though there are many, many more, is Iguana Bay 2.0 by Claire Wendling. And Claire Wendling is a massive source of inspiration for many, many, many artists, and I'm no different. I really, really love her line sketches, the use of line weight, of gesture, and also her shape language as well. And I especially love her animal drawing. And a really interesting thing about Iguana Bay 2 is that it spans 2 time periods. We have some of her older sketches and then some of her modern interpretations, reinterpretations of her older work. So you get to see how an artist has evolved over time and how she reinterprets her own work. And we have here some of her animal drawing, which is a massive inspiration for me in my own animal drawing, but also my line weight, shape language, and also my grouping of values and things as well. I get inspired regardless of the subject from these drawings. It encompasses all of my interests, not just the animal drawing. And we also have this one here. So again, she's also reinterpreted some of her more, I guess you'd call them illustrations rather than sketches. And this is the older one here. And the newer reinterpretation. So you can see how her use of shapes has changed over time when you compare the two. So the evolution of her art is a big inspiration to me. Also, celebrating your evolving as an artist is also inspiring to me, as well as just her technical skill and her, again, use of gesture, of shape language, of line weight, of grouping of values, and just all sorts of lovely stuff is really, really inspiring to me in this book as well. And again, just look at them. So this is the 4th book that I'm going to show you today, and I have many others, so if you're interested in me doing another video for this, please let me know. But thank you for watching. I hope that you found some interesting things in this video, whether it's an artist you might not have heard of, or just insights into art from me just talking about how these are inspiring to me, because quite a lot of these have been very well-known artists. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!